Hi, I'm Dwayne Brown. Tonight on KPBS Evening Edition, Senator Barbara Boxer wants the Justice Department to investigate steam generator problems at San Onofre. She says she's found some important information about the nuclear plant.
San Diego is becoming a major destination for sex trafficking. I'm Amita Sharma. We'll have a look at the growing problem. And they say it takes a thief to catch a thief. In the world of cybersecurity, it takes a hacker to catch a hacker. We'll talk with one expert about protecting yourself from identity theft and cyber scams.
Also tonight, a development debate is sending Encinitas voters to the polls next month. The outcome could determine future growth of the city. And the torch is lit for the Special Olympics in San Diego. KPBS Evening Edition starts now.
KPBS Evening Edition is made possible by Joan and Irwin Jacobs and by
Hello, good evening. Thanks for joining us. Senator Barbara Boxer wants federal officials to look into the replacement of steam generators at San Onofre. Those generators broke down, you may recall, a year and a half ago, and the North County nuclear plant hasn't produced any electricity since. Boxer recently recovered some internal letters from the plant's operator. KPBS business and environment reporter Eric Anderson joins us from the News Center. Eric, tell us a little bit about these newly released letters from Southern California Edison.
Well, Dwayne, Boxer released written exchanges between Southern California Edison, the majority owner of San Onofre, and Mitsubishi Industries. That's the company that built the replacement generators. Edison officials say the correspondence reflects the company's efforts to make sure that the new generators didn't wear out prematurely like the ones they were replacing. Federal officials permit companies to replace major equipment without additional extensive reviews if the replacement item is considered substantially the same. Now, a complete review of the plant's operating license could have kept the reactors out of service for months, possibly even years. The company repeatedly told federal regulators the replacements met the like-for-like benchmark, and Boxer says the newly released letters show that that wasn't really the case.
SoCal Edison people told regulators one thing and did another. And I've gone over it several times. They self-certified this would be a like-for-like replacement. And in this letter, you see, they said it was not a like-for-like replacement.
Boxer says she is forwarding those letters to the Justice Department.
And why is this important now?
Well, this is a crucial time for Southern California Edison because they have such a large financial stake in the outage at San Onofre. The shutdown has cost the company more than $550 million. Edison is pushing forward with a request to restart at least one reactor at reduced power sometime this summer, but they need the permission of the same officials that Boxer says they misled. There is no hearing date scheduled to consider that request. Nuclear critics, meanwhile, say the letters should be enough to end any hope of a restart.
KPBS business and environment reporter Eric Anderson. San Diego made a 5-year deal with its labor union. City leaders say they will get raises of about 5% over the first 3 years, and they say they'll save about $20 million a year on the city's contribution to the pension system. It's a tentative agreement. Union members still have to approve it. Walmart is pleading guilty to dumping hazardous waste across California. The company will pay an $81 million fine. The state began investigating Walmart after a San Diego County Health Department worker saw a Walmart employee pour bleach down a drain. Prosecutors say the company didn't train workers how to properly dispose of hazardous material. Walmart says they've now fixed the problem. There's apparently some light at the end of the tunnel, the very smelly tunnel in La Jolla. Cleanup work is getting underway in La Jolla Cove at this hour. We've told you before about the buildup of bird droppings, creating a stinky mess. Today, workers began testing a microbial cleaner. It's supposed to digest the droppings. The cleanup has been a long time coming. City leaders had to figure out a way to do the job without causing environmental problems and find a way through the permit process.
And when I became mayor, they said it would take about 2 years to get the permits to deal with this. And I said, well, that's not acceptable.
If the cleaning test works, the rest of the cove will be cleaned up next month. A biologist supervising the work says full treatment will take about 20 days and will have to be redone a couple of times a year. San Diego now has its first ever Class 1 bikeway along Montezuma Road. The roadway has a green lane for bicyclists, plus buffers and a redesigned right turn lane at Caldwood Boulevard. Bicyclists say the intersection has long been a dangerous one.
This is really a drastic improvement over what was there before. There was just a wide open space for cars. You can't blame the cars. They really didn't know where they were supposed to be going, turning right up here. But sometimes down that street, you'd see a line of cars in the bike lane, and you'd either be pushing on windows or riding on the left side.
A bicyclist was killed at that intersection a year ago. A new report sheds light on the 350,000 folks in San Diego County depending on the food bank for their meals. KPBS reporter Susan Murphy says San Diego leaders are vowing to use the study to come up with ways to curb the problem.
The face of hunger in San Diego County is working families who can't make ends meet, seniors who have been laid off, and tens of thousands of children. Lynn Reeser is the study's lead author and chief economist at Point Loma Nazarene University.
As we've looked at the problem, it is a problem not just of hunger and food bank assistance, but is a comprehensive problem involving poverty, education, employment, as well as hunger.
Reeser says nearly a quarter of the food bank population has been relying on the food bank for 1 to 3 years. San Diego County Supervisor Dave Roberts is vowing to help find a comprehensive solution to end that cycle.
The county's looked at CalFresh and food stamps, but I believe now with these findings from this report, we can do even more. So we're going to continue to work. We're looking forward to partnering with the food bank on this initiative.
The food bank distributed 18 million pounds of food last fiscal year. The primary data for this study was collected at the food bank's distribution sites during October 2012. And included interviews with more than 550 households receiving food assistance. Susan Murphy, KPBS News.
A new study on sex trafficking in San Diego assesses both the human cost and threat to our community. Amita Sharma is in for Peggy Pico tonight with more on the study.
Sex trafficking is one of the fastest growing crimes in the world, and San Diego is considered a top destination for sexual predators. This month, an Oceanside couple was sentenced to prison for using an underage niece as a sex slave and pimping her out to other men. Aside from headlines of arrests and convictions, it's difficult to grasp how widespread a problem sex trafficking is in the region. The organization Project Concern International is working on coming up with some figures. Bianca Morales-Egan is with her group. She joins us now. Welcome to the program, Bianca.
Thank you.
District Attorney Bonnie Dumanis, in reference to the Oceanside case, said last week that it's a reminder that sex trafficking exists and that it's on the rise in San Diego County. What is your understanding of how prevalent it is in this region?
Unfortunately, we don't have all of the numbers yet. There are efforts going on right now to try and get a centralized database of those who are survivors or victims of sex trafficking. However, we know based on the prevalence in service provider organizations, those who are helping the victims and survivors of sex trafficking, that it is on the rise. They basically don't have enough space for those who are coming, not enough beds, not enough safe houses for those who are trying to get out of the life. So we know anecdotally and based on these key stakeholders that it is on the rise. However, we still need to work on quantifying the issue.
How young are some of these girls?
Oh, they've had girls as young as 12, 13 that have been recruited into what they call the life here in San Diego. And they're saying, when we're looking at education efforts, that high school may even be too late to start preventing this issue at the high school level, that really it's starting more in middle school.
One of the challenges in tracking sex trafficking is that these girls are constantly threatened and beaten by their pimps so that they won't go forward to authorities. And the men who are purchasing this sex are certainly not going to report what they're participating in. How are you going to go about tracking these numbers? How are you going to go about getting the evidence?
Well, there are estimates out there as far as the demand side of things, as far as the Johns. There are estimates that there's 10 to 20% of men have admitted to purchasing sex in their lives, and that's just those who are admitting it, as you say. And so we know that it's a large-scale problem, but also trying to quantify how it's going on here and looking at the issue will be difficult.
What are some of your preliminary findings about just the problem in general?
Preliminary findings that the most at-risk populations, the most vulnerable populations, are those who are falling prey to the traffickers. Also known, in the local sexual trade context as the pimps. The scope is large. There is, the problem from North County down to throughout San Diego County. As I was saying, that the service providers do find, that they don't have enough room for a lot of the victims and survivors, that people are reaching out to them, but they necessarily don't have the beds or the safe spaces. So, we know that as far as an issue, that it's larger than what we can handle right now.
Now, you're also taking a look at sex trafficking in neighboring Tijuana. How does the situation there compare to what you're seeing in San Diego County?
Well, we're just going to start that assessment. We haven't conducted it yet, but we will, suspect that we know that the problem is that there are brothels in Tijuana. We know that organized crime is involved as far as the trafficking cartels, mafia. We know that the issue of young girls being solicited into this and forced and coerced into this is a large problem. So we know on the surface of what's going on, but want to look a little deeper at some of the root causes, where these girls are coming from, how it can be prevented.
And so the girls that are brought in by pimps into this business, very lucrative business, are some of society's most vulnerable, and they're as young as 11 and 12, as you mentioned. How do you even go about trying to stop this crime, considering that they are so vulnerable, they don't come forward to report? How does anyone reach them?
It's a good question, because sometimes schools, reaching out to schools and having a curriculum in schools, may be even not reaching those who are part, at the at-risk populations or part of it. So looking at, the juvenile hall system, for instance, or looking at child social services, looking at those who are part of the system and knowing that, they've suffered a childhood trauma, have been in foster care, knowing that those are the populations that are at most risk for being forced into sex trafficking, and really targeting those as a prevention group.
Bianca Morales-Egan, thanks for coming on the program today.
Thanks for having me.
New data shows more strength in the housing market, with San Diego home prices still going up. The latest S&P Case-Shiller index says March prices were at the highest level in nearly 5 years, and they're up 12% from the year before. The report finds gains all across the U.S. A development issue is sending Encinitas voters to the polls next month. Proposition A would give voters there the power to deny projects taller than the city's 30-foot height limit. KPBS reporter Allison St. John says the debate highlights a divide over the city's growth.
Downtown Old Encinitas is full of life on warm summer evenings. People, children and dogs mingle along Highway 101, enjoying the sidewalk cafes, the shops and the sunshine. Bruce Ehlers has lived in this city for almost 30 years.
There has certainly been growth, but the one thing we've managed to do quite well is hang on to our small beach town character.
Ehlers, a former city planning commissioner, is the main spokesman for Prop A, Encinitas' Right to Vote initiative.
We want anything above 30 feet to go to a vote of the people. That's all we want. Likewise, higher densities, we want them to go to a vote of the people.
Like many communities, the city of Encinitas wants to preserve its unique small-town character. Some residents don't trust their future elected officials to defend that against ambitious developers.
Like, for instance, Pacific Station was built to 3 stories because it had affordable units in. So they used the excuse of affordable units to add extra density and extra cars and traffic.
Ehlers is frustrated by the way developers use the state density bonus laws that allow them to build taller and denser development if they include affordable housing. But Encinitas Mayor Teresa Barth says the Pacific Station development that includes Whole Foods represents a new kind of community.
All of the units there are sold, so obviously people like to live in that environment. Whole Foods is busy all the time. Our demographics are changing. The fastest group in our demographics is the seniors. There are people that already live here. That's the baby boomer who's going to get out of the suburban house because the kids have all gone and they're moving into a smaller apartment or townhouse or condominium, and they want to live downtown. They and the millennials all want the same thing. They want to be able to walk out their door and go to a grocery store, go to a restaurant.
Regional planners estimate the population of Encinitas will grow from about 60,000 to about 75,000 people in the next 30 years. Like the rest of the region, the city will have to take its share of growth and provide somewhere for those people to live. But Bruce Ehlers doesn't buy those numbers.
We don't believe those numbers are true. We think that the city government should represent our citizens, the vast majority of the citizens in Encinitas, and push back and say, hey, we aren't going to grow that much. We don't agree with you.
Ehlers opposes increased density even in new Encinitas on El Camino Real because of the increased traffic. Residents of Lucadia, one of the communities within the city of Encinitas, held a town hall meeting to consider the initiative.
The choice is yours. Protect the quality of life and the small town community character. Guarantee your own right to vote on zoning increases. Vote yes on Proposition A. Thank you.
Architect Steve Shackleton argued against the initiative. He believes giving people input on a new city general plan update is a better way to go.
Our general plan update is still in process and wide open for anyone's input and ideas.
However, Encinitas has been working on its general plan update for 3 years and has spent more than $1 million without reaching consensus on how the city should grow. Mayor Barth says the City Council is committed to finalising a new general plan and putting it to the voters next year. She thinks passing Prop A would backfire by making it so difficult for developers that they will opt to use the state density bonus laws to get what they want. She says state law trumps local elections.
So it will probably, in my opinion, force more developers to go the route of the density bonus because we're going to make things so restrictive and add costs by requiring an election.
Barth says she understands why people are worried about losing the character of the community they love. But even if the city doesn't grow as much as predicted, she says, the kind of housing people want is changing.
You know, ballot box planning doesn't always work. It rarely does, in all honesty, because planning is a very complex process.
Barth says citizens are right to worry about an Encinitas law that allows the City Council to amend the general plan with a 4/5 vote. But she says the City Council has recently decided to give up that power.
And of course the opponents say, yes, that's all very well, but then the next council could come in and change it.
Absolutely, which is why we're also committed to putting it on the November 2014 ballot to be ratified by the public.
I think that's
a voter.
Encinitas voters face the same dilemma facing many San Diego communities: how to give today's residents a say in how their community grows without making it so difficult to grow that tomorrow's residents cannot find an affordable place to live. Alison St. John, KPBS News.
News reports out today say Chinese hackers got access to top-secret U.S. weapons designs. Amita Sharma is talking with an expert about cybersecurity.
He's a paid hacker, bank robber, and a thief. Top companies use this San Diego man to bulletproof their systems against cyber crimes. Jim Stickley of Trace Security joins us now. In the headlines today is a report that Chinese hackers have accessed U.S. weapon systems, and recently a group of people in New York were indicted for allegedly stealing $45 million using manipulated prepaid debit cards and ATMs. How is this even happening?
I mean, the technology is just so far ahead of the security that's trying to keep up with it. And it really comes down to that. I mean, people are so apt to want to be on the very latest cutting edge with whatever they're offering. The security is just not staying up with it.
So how do systems, how do people, how do institutions guard against this rapidly changing technology?
It's extremely, I mean, it's being proven, it's extremely difficult. Obviously, patches are extremely important, or updates. If you're at home, that's what you need to do. With governments, I mean, they really need to continually review their policies, and it's got to be locking it down more and more. I mean, people shouldn't have access to this unless they are top certified people. And then even those people should only have very limited access to parts of it and not the whole thing.
Now, you're hired by major companies to detect vulnerabilities within their systems. How do you go about doing that?
Most of the time they'll hire us to try to pretend we're a hacker. So we'll actually go and attempt to hack into their networks, and we just start, banging away from the outside and figure out how we can gain access. And then based on what we find, we report back and say, okay, here's your issues and here's what you can do to resolve these. And then we continue to test over time until we can't get in anymore.
Do you ever go about it from the inside?
Oh, absolutely. We'll go in and just physically rob the places, and we'll generally do it during the day when they're actually at the office. And I'll dress up like as a fire inspector. So I'll wear a full uniform. I have my little gold badge. I just walk in, and I've never been so charming or good looking as when I've been a fireman in all my life. But they treat you well, and then you just physically go in and steal whatever it is you've been hired to steal.
How deeply have you been able to breach these systems, and what kind of data have you been able to retrieve?
I mean, complete and total compromise, and that's kind of the norm. I mean, it's rare that we don't get complete compromise. So if we were hired to steal everything out of a bank's database, we will steal everything out of a bank's database. That's mother's maiden name, social security number, home address, account numbers. I mean, you name it, that data's gone. And it's not just corporate. I mean, we've also done government facilities where they've hired us to go in. And so I remember one I was robbing where they had assault rifles, and I'm going in and I'm like, I'm going to get killed here. But fortunately I didn't, and we were still able to gain access to what we were hired to steal.
And when you bring your findings to the corporations that you're working for and the government agencies that you're working for, what's their reaction?
It's generally, that nervous shock. Like they're really surprised because it shouldn't be as easy as it is.
What can consumers do to protect their information online, their credit cards, their social security numbers?
Again, the most important thing is keeping up with those updates and patches. People just never patch their computers. When you first boot it up, a lot of times it'll say like, hey, some sort of a patch is available or an update's available. Don't click remind me later. Say, go ahead and install that now. And if you do that, you're already reducing probably 90% of your risk. And then things like antivirus on your computer is also really important. So.
Now, we've heard about these fake ATM machines. They take your information, but they don't dispense with any cash.
Sure.
How widespread are those?
They're out there. I mean, fake ATMs are all over the world. And then there's also the skimmers as well. So it's a real ATM, and they put this little plastic device and just plugs right up where your card would go through. And as you slide your card in the machine, it's actually recording what your card says as it goes in. So when you get it back, you don't realize that somebody's stealing your data right there on the real machine.
But then you do realize it when you don't get any cash back, right?
Well, on those you would realize it. On the fake machines, like the one I built a few fake machines, and it didn't even have a spot to dispense cash, but nobody noticed because it would just post a message, and it would say, you'd enter in your PIN, and it would say, we apologize for the inconvenience, but our network's offline. And people go, oh, okay, I guess it's just down. And they just turn and walk away, and they never think twice that maybe this thing wasn't a real machine.
How savvy do you think the average consumer is in detecting whether or not their computers have been hacked?
I think it's almost impossible. I mean, nowadays, because it's not like in the old days, your computer would get really slow when they were hacked, and that was kind of your obvious tell. But technology has come a long way for hackers as well. And so now your speed will be the same, everything's acts the same. There's really no way you'll know until you either start getting collection notices or something like that, or when you log into your bank account and suddenly there's no money there. Other than that, knowing when your computer's been compromised, almost impossible.
It's troublesome.
It's very difficult.
Thank you so much for coming on the program, Jim Stickley.
My pleasure.
I'm Jeffrey Brown. On the next NewsHour, Miles O'Brien looks at the science behind investigating bombings like the Boston Marathon attack. That's Tuesday on the PBS NewsHour.
Del Mar will host an extra meet of horse racing next year. The track is getting a second meet in fall 2014 because Hollywood Park is shutting down this year. The annual Special Olympics Torch Run and fundraiser got started in Chula Vista with a 37-mile run to Del Mar. The torch will eventually end up in Long Beach for the start of the Summer Games on June 8th.
My mother is a former Olympian, and this gives me the same experience she had.
Lindsay Newman has been competing in the Special Olympics for 15 years. She's a figure skating champion who's also competed in tennis and basketball. Newman says it's made her who she is today.
Because of Special Olympics, I have been challenged to do better, to improve, and to grow.
Special Olympics has grown into the largest sports organization in the world, with 1,100 athletes participating in San Diego County. Law enforcement agencies have been one of its biggest supporters, raising funds and relaying the torch of hope for the lighting ceremony to kick off the Summer Games. San Diego Police Captain Mark Jones has been involved for 20 years.
It's an athletic event, which is something that cops like to do, is to stay in shape for the most part and run and raise money for special athletes who can't raise the money themselves and pay for the things that they need to pay for.
30 city and county agencies are supporting the torch run through San Diego County. Their goal is to raise at least $75,000. Small price to pay for a life-changing program for people with developmental disabilities. About 100 Special Olympians from San Diego will compete in the Summer Games June 8th and 9th in Long Beach. The weather is starting to warm up as the month of May winds down. Coastal temperatures will be in the 70s. Even warmer for the inland valleys, low to mid-80s. Sunny in the mountains, upper 70s to low 80s. And in the desert, look for triple digits by the end of the week. You can find tonight's stories and download the KPBS app all on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.